Four Nations face-off has been everything that we've asked for out of hockey. I mean, we already said the NHL is better than the NBA, and it's proven this last week and a half.
We didn't say that.
We did. I mean, we'd all said it.
We did.
America
You
said
said
the first 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the game was amazing.
Boxing or hockey?
It's box hockey.
It's boxy. It's boxy.
Boxy, thank you.
Squad up. Episode 150. Cinco Squad is back in the house. Gentlemen, we finally have some sports. It's been a couple days here, and it's really odd. We get past the Super Bowl, you have some All-Star, and we've been a couple days without sports. John, how have you been doing with no sports in your life, just waiting for your Four Nations?
The Four Nations face-off has been everything that we've asked for out of hockey. I mean, we already said the NHL is better than the NBA, and it's proven this last week and a half.
We didn't say that.
We did. I mean, we'd all said it.
We did.
America
You
said
said
the first 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the game was amazing by Brady.
Yep.
Kachuk, Matthew.
Now, is
Kachuk.
this boxing or hockey?
It's box hockey.
It's boxy. It's boxy.
Boxy, thank you. It's boxy. No, I mean, it's been great. I mean, like, looking at hockey, I mean, this is basically what I thought it was going to be. And this is what I was trying to temper last week with playing these nations. They play for their country. Now, granted, some people think that the fights were staged. The hockey fights are staged in a way that are not staged. I mean, they basically line up to a circle and say, hey, we're going. You going? All right, let's go. And that's how it goes typically. So a lot of people say, oh, yeah, that was staged. But I don't think it really was. I think it was more animosity with Canada booing the national anthem flag. And that fired us up. And ding, ding, let's go. You know, make a point proven. And, I mean, USA won the game. They got to win the game tonight and, take home the gold or whatever trophy it is for the Four Nations face-off. But there's a lot more pride. You see it in this tournament. And I think that's where, like, a lot of people say the NBA is kind of slowing down in an all-star game is there's not a lot of pride of being an all-star anymore in any sport, to be honest with you. There's not a pride of being an MLB all-star, NBA all-star, a Pro Bowler. There's no pride in it anymore. And you don't have that
Now,
pride.
question for you. So, because it's not a traditional All-Star, do we consider this like an All-Star tournament? Because it's more of a tournament than an All-Star thing, per se, because you're playing, let's say, country. So, it may not be the best person, may not be necessarily involved if it comes down to my country. So, let's say we got a guy who's from Russia, and he's the best player in NHL. And let's say he kicks off for like another 6 years. He just now does not participate, if I'm correct, right?
Right now, because that's just an oddball, but yes, because they only have 14, but Russia cannot play an international play, cannot be represented right now. But
do we consider this an all-star format for the sake of that? Because
not really.
Technically, we could have an all-star not in there. So I guess my thing is, what I kind of observed to me is, and this isn't a knock on, it's actually a good thing. To me, people said the basketball needs to take on this, and that's what some people said. I thought this is more so what the in-season tournament was supposed to be an NBA, because the in-season tournament is a different simulation. It doesn't necessarily keep all-stars, because if, let's say, like I said, hypothetically, some guy, blah, 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 Vladimir, whoever, comes out of Russia, and he becomes the best player in hockey, he wouldn't be able to participate, so he technically wouldn't be an all-star. But the in-season tournament, the NBA, which also is lax, so I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, I get
this
you.
feels that void. Do you feel, John, that every league should take on the Four Nations?
I think they should take out a format like NBA. You've said it for years, and I love how Stephen A. Smith keeps taking your shit that they should be USA versus World. These motherfuckers keep taking our goddamn shit, and you start copyrighting motherfuckers.
Motherfuckers
to hear them talk about the same old bullshit. Like, it's really simple. Just make it USA versus World, because you know what? Then you have a little bit more pride when you have it. I didn't like how LeBron didn't play, and from what I've heard is that he didn't play. He was not going to play at all. And it kind of took an all-star spot away from someone. Now, granted, he was going to be there regardless, but I think other sports should. Baseball.
If you don't mind, let me pause you really quick on the LeBron thought. So, I don't think you actually
hear it.
did it.
I just heard the last minute that he.
No, I'm not knocking you. I don't think you actually. So, to elaborate on what you said, he didn't actually he took an all-star spot in the fact of he wasn't going to play fine, but he would have still been considered an all-star, quote unquote. So if he gave it the spot, somebody else also gets to be an all-star. So we just have an extra all-star, which is fine. So
got you.
you're right. Where I'm mad at him is because Norman Powell or Devin Booker or somebody else could have also been an All-Star, and
Right.
he still would have had the accolade of being a 21-time All-Star.
Yeah,
He
he
just
would.
wouldn't have been there. He would have tipped his hat, sat on the sideline, but now you took that away from those gentlemen. So I'm
Right.
sorry to interrupt you, but that was where I had an issue with LeBron personally.
Yeah, exactly.
As the
I
basketball fan,
didn't know that. I didn't know that part either. So like, yeah, you still get your accolade, right? You still get that star on the back of
yeah,
your
it
jersey.
still counts.
But
Yeah.
I think baseball, what they're losing, and I think what a lot of these sports are losing, like baseball and NBA, what they've lost is the home run derby, and dunk contest. I'm sorry, Mac
Mm-hmm.
McClung does some crazy ass shit, right? And Stephen A. actually made a really good point this past week on the show, and he basically said, you know, if you're gonna just have random dunkers come in from the G League, he's not in the NBA. Mac McClung's not in the NBA. I don't know how many games you need to play, but he's technically not in the NBA. He's in the G League. So then let's have the top 10 best dunkers in the world come out and see what we got. That'd be the point is like that we need to have these dunkers like John Moran, Giannis coming in. Like John Moran was like, I'll do it next year. Giannis was like, yeah, I'll do it next. They ain't gonna do it, but it would be exciting to have those guys because it's like, oh shit, let's see what these guys got. Let's see what Ant Edwards got. Like I would love to see it. To see guys like, and especially in MLB, a lot of the home run guys you don't know. Like a lot of the guys you don't know. And I know Mike is, the big baseball aficionado down there, but he knows all the guys. But when you look at it, like Mike was going like, yeah, this guy's from UConn is in the dunk contest. I was like, I watch more college basketball than probably me and Jamie are probably equal on that. And I didn't know who the fucking kid was from UConn on there. I watched UConn more than anybody last year, and I'm like, God damn, I don't know who this guy is. So when you say his name, it doesn't ring a bell. John Morant will put people in the crowd. I think they need to adopt some sort of format in order to get their events better. I think it's not looking good for the NBA. And ultimately, Kevin Durant made a point saying, "Why not just take the week off? Fuck it, we'll just play the in-season tournament. And that's it. This will be a week off."
Jay, do you think the Four Nations format would work in other leagues?
Absolutely. I think it would apply to baseball just fine because when you look at the World Classic that they just had, it was everybody really wanted to win that tournament. There's a lot of pride. And I think you can make it a great tournament if you have the Caribbean, be it the Cubans and Dominican team, and maybe some people from Curacao. You have a Central American team. You have Team North America, and then you just have whatever the rest of the world be, right?
Japan.
Eurasia, you can find Europe and Asia, right?
You're
I
right.
feel like if you had a format like that, it would be great because you kind of have maybe you're telling Asia and Europe like, hey, you guys can make a power side to compete with the Americas, but then how are you going to feel about the Caribbean where some of the best players are coming from the Dominican and Cuba, and that team could probably dominate on their own, yet they're coming from two of the smallest countries. So I feel it would be fascinating based on how that would turn out if you created something like that in baseball. I think baseball is the most ready to welcome that format of all the other leagues.
Mike, what about you? You're the baseball expert.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the World Baseball Classic is similar to the Four Nations Face-Off in the sense of you really see the pride and you see some of the best players from these countries, and to be able to then you're readily available. You could put together full rosters of just MLB players for a lot of these teams, and I think all leagues are kind of these days set up because of all the international players that they have to be able to do something. I mean, not the NFL. But I think the NBA could do something with it as well if that's what they wanted to do, or just make it the in-season tournament. The statistic came out this week that this was the second lowest viewed NBA All-Star game ever. So here comes another new format. I don't know what it is, but it should be something like take the example and run with it. That the Four Nations type of thing works in in-season tournament. You don't necessarily have to do it by country. That doesn't have to be the divider, but find common dividers and make it a tournament like this. And no, I get it. NBA is not going to do full games like the NHL does as far as the round robin goes, but you can do,
Why not? Like, why not? I'm sorry. Like,
they're not going to. I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying they're not going to.
Hold on. I just keep hearing it every saying they're not going to play these whole games. They're not going to play these full games.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You're getting you want more in your contract, right? You want more and more and more and more in your contract. You want these guys to get paid over 80, 90, 100 million at some point. Why the fuck can't you play an extra game? I understand, like, okay, injuries. All right, get it. But, like, you guys already sit out most of the season anyways. Most of these fucking all-stars are sitting out 20, 30 games a season as it is. You can't play one extra game and just try. I mean, I get like you don't want to sit there and go up full on contact with someone, but like at least play ball, man. Like suit up, let's go. Let's have a game. Let's play a game. That's what I'm saying. Like you're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars a year to play fucking the sport. Someone that would love to play. Just get out there and fucking play and just enjoy it. Like you're playing against the best of the best in the world, and you don't get that all the time. So like that's what I see it like as a not a cop out, but it's just like come on, just put on a show. Like you guys,
But they are.
your fans in
But
one
they
area,
were.
you have all your people right there. Play against them. Why wouldn't you want to go head to head against like
They were doing that,
Giannis against
and they got criticized for
LeBron
just
against
playing the game
Steph.
their way.
Okay,
Bro, you made your point. Listen, they're
Right.
getting
Yeah,
criticized.
what was Jay's point?
They're doing it their way. You were one of the people saying it's not entertaining, and they're just playing ball their way. They're having fun. Throw alley oops.
But that's not. But I don't want to watch practice. That's not fun.
But that's their way to have fun and let loose. And you're saying do that, and they do that, and it's not good
Why
enough.
can't you play competitively? One game, you can't play competitive.
That's what you got the regular season for.
I get you have the regular season. I'm one of the guys that watches the regular season basketball, and I enjoy watching a Tuesday night game where you got the Lakers playing the Mavs or whoever, Boston playing Cavs. Like I enjoy watching those games, but like this is the one time that you're gonna have an opportunity to play where like maybe fans are buying tickets. Trey, you're one of those people that used to go out to All-Star Weekend all the time, and it's like. Imagine you going all the way out to All-Star Weekend and then,
You actually bring a point, though. So the problem with that is the NBA All-Star Weekend is corporate. And this is something where I used to actually go to All-Star Weekend. The tone's already set when they get there. Most of these guys, and this is unlike the NHL, they're constantly having to go to the Kenny Smith party, the Fanatics party, and do all these interviews, not doing 300 suits. They're doing everything else but actually playing basketball. So by the time they get there, these guys are actually exhausted. The NHL, with that format, set it up where they can just go out there and just play. If you actually maybe tone it down and make it less about the partying and shit, then actually you may get a better thing. The Four Nations doesn't necessarily work in NBA also. As much as everybody kind of says, oh, well, they're going to play out. No, they're not. You know why it's not? Look at Jokic. Everybody was saying, oh, we just put Jokic was like the laziest motherfucker in like the last four All-Star games. You know when Jokic actually plays? When he gets to play with Team Serbia. The only way that works is if you actually take the Serbian guys who aren't in the NBA to go play with Jokic, then you get to replicate the Olympics. And you can't really make these guys. Maybe France maybe has enough guys that still get their ass.
Yeah, do Team Europe. Do a Team Europe, Team Africa.
I don't know if the Europeans I don't think they will care as Europe. The reason Canada cares is because Canada had a personal thing. This didn't get deep political. It was a political thing that happened that made it to a deeper level. If we feel like we have to boo your country because of certain political things that happened. Whereas if I say Europe, if I'm in France, I don't feel the same pride of playing next to the guy who's also in Europe. It's not the same. Jokic had a certain type of energy in the Olympics because he was playing for Serbia, not playing for Europe. Right. Jokic, a lot of these countries are torn. A lot of these countries don't even like each other. You think they're going to give a fuck about playing with each other? And that way it works there because they have a unique situation where they have enough good guys in the same as that country, Canada, to do that. We saw what happened when Canadians got in there and played the USA in basketball. I told y'all it was going to happen. They got washed. If they try that shit, y'all going to still be unentertained because Dylan Brooks is going to be fucking playing for Team Canada getting fucking washed if they try it. The only thing for the NBA to work is they're going to have to just take personal accountability. It's simple as that. They're not a Four Nations, not a gimmick. They just have to. What they are missing is the Kobe Bryant, the Jordan, the guy who walks in and says, we're fucking hooping. Well, I do put this on LeBron. That's for my guy. I'll never forget this quote. When they were in the bubble, Patrick Beverly, they went up to him and they said, y'all gonna play? He said, if Bron say we hooping, we hooping. And people said, damn, he trying to say LeBron. He said, no, I'm not saying LeBron. It's his league. He determines how this goes. When Bron said that tone of, I ain't doing a dunk contest, I ain't doing this, he set the tone. He set the tone that weekend. I'm sitting out here, I don't even get dressed for the pictures. He set the fucking tone. So now, the next face in the NBA, whoever the fuck that is, it ain't Anthony Edwards because he said he don't want to be it. Whether it's Wemby or whoever decides to be, it's up to them to set that tone. And that's where the NBA had a problem because LeBron years ago decided that he didn't value it, was then trickled down. So, well, if you don't care, then why should I care? So I put a lot of
that brings up an interesting point. It'll be the first time the face becomes a non-American.
And to your point, Trey, that KD also is one of those players that's like probably the next below LeBron when it comes to that stature. I mean, you look at a lot of these guys. I mean, Anthony Edwards' favorite player is Kevin Durant. Look how Anthony Edwards handles himself, similar to Durant. He's a hardworking
That's
player.
your favorite player. Yeah, that's his favorite player growing up.
So like he has and don't take this very lightly. I don't think he's this, but he has this lazy type mentality. It seems like in interviews and the way he goes about the game. But obviously, when he gets on the court, he's not a lazy player, right? So I'm not saying that KD is a lazy player, but that's the way That's the way he kind of nonchalant, just sitting there. Yeah, it is what it is, type of thing. So like you have LeBron, who's cooking at a high level, but also kind of playing at a very like low rate. But then you have the next face, which is KD, and is not. If you want intense, the realistic part is they need to stop changing this shit. Just make it just a game. Stop trying to innovate. Let things sink
So they
in.
got to stop the game for sure.
This shit keeps changing year after year. I don't even know what the fucking All Star is gonna be next year. Like he just keeps changing. Just go back to the game, play the game, have it be 7,000 to 7,001, and like let the game be what it is. Because you know what, they're not gonna care. They're not gonna try. And it's just like in baseball, we're not gonna get the best home run hitters in the home run derby. Just plain
Well,
simple.
and the other thing too, what I've always said with this, what I didn't always like, and I mentioned this last week. So you start to go away from the record. So like we get to All Star MVP with nobody. You know, you gotta. I think one of y'all stumped the squad. I think maybe was it John? I think it was John's question. Like it was John's question. The most points. Well, nobody was ever going to equal that because it was 40. So like you start to throw out the records, and I hate when we throw the records out of sports. I like these things to level up. And we can say, well, this guy sets the record. This guy sets the record, and so on. So like earlier today, I came across something. I'm sure Jay would have something to say about this. Where I think it was Tennessee men who beat the Florida record in NCAA, and these are the type of things. That is a sustained record that happens over time. So now that means something. I think Jay could probably, as our swimmer, speak a little more to that.
Yeah, so there was once a super suit era in swimming, and it took a long time to break some of those records. And the Florida Gators did it 2 years ago. Well, they also did it at SECs, but they were outmatched by the international team of the Tennessee Volunteers, where there was 3 Caribbean swimmers on that team and a Brazilian named Gay Caribe. But it was Jordan Crooks leading off in once again a 17. He now becomes the only man to go on the 18 3 times. However, Caleb is 1-2, and Crooks is 3-4-5 in terms of fastest swims ever in the 50 freestyle. So if Caleb's still the king, then Jordan is the heir apparent. Where we're going to see in NCAAs, is he going to jump Caleb and be the fastest man in the history? Well, he's taken his team to that point where they're the only team to ever go under 113, which is ridiculous for a relay. That's 4 guys swimming 2 laps in 62.8 seconds. That's an average of about 18 threes, and it's ridiculous that people can move that fast now through the water. So congrats to the Vols and Jordan Crooks. You guys are doing big things already. And also congrats to the UVA women who took down an 8-year-old Stanford record in the 800 free relay. And the Wonder Girl herself, if you guys are going to know him by now, Gretchen Walsh should be a household name. Second fastest woman ever, only to Missy Franklin, who used to be a household name. So NCAA records are already falling. We're going to see them fall even more as we go into championship season here in NCAA swimming. And then you know what's right behind it, baby. It's basketball.
So in swimming, of course, we have a lot of swimming where you mentioned relays. A lot of swimming is about one-on-one. That's just kind of the element of swimming. And this makes me kind of think, if we're the NBA, because we're talking about this whole competitive nature of this, let's say they went to All-Star Weekend. I heard a lot about this. Maybe they should go to one-on-one format where you put a bracket out and these guys play one-on-one. And would that work to maybe get more competitive? Mike, if the NBA decided we're going to put a one-on-one tournament, do you think that would be interesting? And if they did, and not just today's NBA, historically, who would you want to see as like the guy that's like the one-on-one baller if they were to do that?
So yeah, I think it would make it more entertaining because one of the big topics of conversation amongst all-time players, both, old generations and current generation and future generations, is always, oh, who would win in a one-on-one? Like the common one is Jordan LeBron, who is that decides who the GOAT of basketball is who would win in a one-on-one. And some people say LeBron and some people say Jordan. So to be able to, at least in the context of the current, whatever the current generation of players is at any point, be able to get that and have at least that kind of debate settled and get that talk moving, at least for the current generation, I think would be awesome. As far as who do I think would be the all-time like baller in a one-on-one, like if you put all-time in a one-on-one, I mean, I gotta go with Jordan. I mean, I just think because Other than Kobe, I always say this: Jordan is the only guy I've ever seen who just won't let himself lose. Like it's not playing to just win the particular matchup; it's to beat the other guy. Like you're not beating me, whoever it is that's across from him. Whether it's 5-on-5 or and I would imagine that mentality does translate to a 1-on-1. So if you gave me a whole all-time list, I would have to say Jordan beat everybody.
John, you've been the most adamant about the NBA and lack of competition. Do you think a 1-on-1 would maybe bring out a certain spirit? And if it did, I mean, who would you want to see as the guy in a 1-on-1? Like I said, it could be all time. It doesn't have to be just
Yeah,
active.
not really, to be honest with you, because I think these guys would just let them kind of go by each other. I don't think so. It's like two facets of it, right? You either get cooked and you're getting cooked in front of thousands of people, and then you're like, all right, well now I got to turn it up, right? Or and this is in replacement of the dunk contest, right? Or no?
No, we're just saying in general. This was throughout the weekend. We started
No,
off, we got 6 in the bracket, and
yeah.
we kind of played this out. That dunk contest, all that maybe goes around. So maybe it's a game to the dunk contest. Then it's a game to the 3-point shootout. And then we come back maybe to the final fours on Sunday. Like this kind of this is throughout the weekend now instead of the game.
So here's how I see it going. I see like the first matchup being just a lazy matchup where you're seeing a guy, lackadaisically do things, and all of a sudden he gets fucking cooked, fall into the court. Everyone's like, oh. Then you see the competitive juices come out. No one wants to get cooked in front of 20, 30,000 people, right? So I could see it working like that. Just depends on the matchup that you have, right? But I would love to see like Anthony Edwards versus KD, right? I think that matchup would be sweet because it's two guys who really care about each other, but also are and I just said that they have that kind of lazy talk, lazy, lackadaisical type of, but they're fucking killers on the court, right? Easy Money Sniper is his name for a reason because he was cold in his prime. He still is cold. Anthony Edwards is cold right now, so he would go out and just cook. So I see those two actually being the two that I think what I would like to see the most. When it comes to all time, I mean, yeah, I think KD would be just cook. That dude, people don't realize how good KD is. I know people are just getting into NBA, and Mike, I know like you're just getting into NBA over the last 10 years, but like this dude in college was unconscious. And coming into the first year with Seattle, he was unconscious. So, and he could make guys move, twist around, do things that I've been like, God damn. If Jordan was 6'11", this would be Jordan in that sense. Like he just basically made guys look stupid, and he would just pull up, and the guys would be like here, and just right in his face. So KD, I think, would be very exciting, and I would take him all day with my 1-on-1, but I see it working if they do the matchups right. If they do the matchups right and have the right players against you, they have two lazy, lackadaisical players who are just letting guys go by. It'll never work. But you got to be really methodical about who's going against who to really give that feel.
I mean, ultimately, it's a bracket, so eventually certain matches are going to line up, even if the first round isn't as great. I think it would work because I think it would bring a certain because of what you just said. Nobody wants to get embarrassed. If you want to come out here and try to be chill, that's fine. Then you get crossed over. So you go out there, you want to chill, and you're playing Allen Iverson, let's say historically, and then he crosses you over, and the whole crowd starts laughing. Do you just keep getting crossed over, or do you now pull your jock shorts up and say, all right, I'm out here balling? So I think that actually would bring it out of them. One thing that actually, in a weird way, this kind of goes back to competitiveness in the NBA. Something used to happen in the All-Star game, but it's also with the NBA at the time was hero ball. A lot of people say hero ball was terrible. I actually miss hero ball. I love the movement, free space, and that's great. It is a beautiful game to watch. But there was something that we used to watch tonight. TNT. We have Vince Carter going against Tracy McGrady. And that was fun because you knew those two were going to eventually get each other's face. I got him. We don't really have that now. If you go in there and they're like, Steph's playing John Murray, that's fine. But Steph's going to run off 3 screens and call for a pick real quick. And him and John are taking each other. The one-on-one brings that element back. That element's gone, partly due to screen plays, partly due to really the screen. It's changed everything in the NBA because you don't see these guys go one-on-one. You go there, you say, actually, no, get them off me. Come on. I remember watching the NBA Finals, and Kawhi checked back in the game, and LeBron's like, oh, fuck. Because he was like, this motherfucker's again. Because he was tired of Kawhi checking him. And that was the beauty of basketball. We don't have that anymore. So I think having a one-on-one tournament would bring that same beauty back. For me, I look at a guy, there's really 2 guys. Try John to pick this guy. Melo. Melo could get his shot from any and everywhere. Melo could put you in the paint. Melo would have been a monster, and he can shoot. He can take you to paint. He can get you in a low post. He can get a layup. That would have been. He was a big body, physical, and just quick enough that you're not just gonna blow by him. He would have been a fun one. For me and John did agree. KD would have been my most fun one. KD's damn near 7 foot, so you got a damn near 7 foot guy who created his own shot. So you put a big guy in him. Okay, he can shoot over. You put he can get past him. You put a small guy. He's definitely shooting over you. He can take it in the paint. He can take a three. He can take it in the mid range. KD also, he's a guy. He loves his craft. Remember, KD's the same guy who we see at the Rutgers in the offseason. We see it, KD more than anybody. We hear these stories about this the offseason. KD's outside hooping with some dudes at the corner because that's just what he likes to do. Like, he's a guy who, and I guess I'm just giving him his flowers right here because I keep talking about these guys going to retire soon. We ain't got so much of that guy left. And Kevin Durant is a guy who just genuinely loves basketball. I actually feel bad for him because I think he is going to be so sad. If KD sees this is no shot at you, KD. I think you were going to be sad when he leaves basketball because more than most guys there, some guys do this for a check. I think that dude would pay for free because I think he just genuinely loves basketball. He was going to be in pain at retirement because he won't be able to go out there and hoop. And I truly believe that because of that guy's passion.
He's going to Rutgers Park every year.
Yeah, that dude. We will have videos of 60-year-old KD probably balling against some 30-year-old Rutgers. I truly would be. I'll be shocked if we don't have that video.
That motherfucker was like a household name in Rutgers Park, like yearly. That's probably why he got so many damn injuries right now. To be honest with you, he played there.
Dude, don't take off season.
He just keeps playing.
That was his off season. He would go there, and everyone would be like, "Oh, he doesn't try." It's like, dude, he was playing year round.
No, that dude's hooping.
Yeah, that's why I said. All right, Jay.
Yeah. So,
which legend?
Jay, who you got?
70s.
Detlef Shrimp.
There you go. No, I would take Tracy McGrady. He's as versatile as any player ever. He can do anything on the court. He can take you off the dribble. He's long enough to defend in any position. He can perimeter defend. He's also so creative with the basketball. One of the best finishers in the league. And when he made his 3-point shot deadly, he was unstoppable in Orlando. And unfortunately, he didn't know how to count to 4. Thought he won a series one year and didn't realize he had to close it in 4 games. So, boo on him. But one-on-one, I feel like he's the one that could probably give KD the most issues. But here's how I would like to see that format happen. Because everybody says, oh, well, how do you put this big against maybe this small? Do 4 brackets. You have your point guard bracket, where it's like Dame versus Kyrie, Steph versus Jalen Brunson, let's say. You have your forward bracket, your forwards and your wingmen. You have your big men bracket, and then you have your shooting guard bracket. So 4 in each. And then the winner is the final 4. And then you just pit them and see who's the dominant player in the NBA. I think that would catch a lot of interest because what it would really lead to is I just want to see this final 4. Is the big man the best player? Is the point guard the best player? And I think it would create that sort of hoopla around it because everybody's going to be guessing who's going to win this as opposed to randomly doing it, have one player from each position get there so you have a representative from each position. Say, at least I'm vying for my spot. And you know what I'd love to? I love if they put like Brown against Tatum, like put teammates against each other and see how they would go at it for like dominance in a one-on-one, which you will never ever see, in the NBA format itself. So they could be really creative with this and capture the audience's attention. I think it's probably the right way to go. And what do we have on YouTube? We got the multi-view screen. We can see it all happening at one friggin' time. Just let it fly with the 4 brackets and we see the action right through.
Wait, YouTube keep canceling channels. They ain't gonna have me.
Yeah, exactly.
YouTube TV, they keep trying this shit.
That'd be funny.
No, actually, I like
versus Brooke Lopez. I'd be the most. I'm sorry. The only thing I disagree with you is on the centers. That would be the most boring thing, unless it's like, because like, what do you put Wemby at? Like, I know he's 7'7".
Well, I think
be a center.
Those are the big men. Wemby against Giannis would probably be in there. Brooke Lopez would be out because he's not really, an all-star anymore. And then the Joker against whoever you want to throw in. To me, that's intriguing if you have those kind of guys in there representing.
So anyone over 7 foot is pretty much
maybe Embiid. Yeah.
Well, it's considered big man based on position the team plays. Yeah. Kind of similar to franchise tag in the NBA. Eventually, it does balance out because let's be realistic. Joker probably doesn't go all the way through, so Wemby or somebody probably goes through and has to play athletic guard, which then makes that kind of a maybe fun matchup. So I do like Jay's method of that.
Yeah,
NBA definitely still our idea in this case. We need money and free tickets.
Please, come on, Silver.
Yeah. In this case, steal our shit. In this case, steal our shit.
No. No, you don't get to steal our shit. We copyrighting the shit out of this, so you ain't fucking taking shit.
No, we need our
So,
credit. Yeah, we need our
to me.
credit.
Well, yeah, no. We get credit for it. It's just use
We
the
want our
idea.
credit about it.
Use
We want
our
our-
idea and make sure everybody knows
Call
it's our
ass
idea.
before you use our
Yeah, we want our court passes and shit. I'm not saying just take it and run. No, we need our fucking court passes, all access. Shit, I might want to be the referee.
Sure.
I'm gonna
How
go.
about each one of us commentate one of the brackets? Right? You take John, you take big men, Mikey, you take point guards. Jay and I take the guards and the shooters, and then we're good to go. And then we just all come together for the final four as a panel.
How do I get the
This is fun. They're all around my height. No, they're
Right.
not.
No, we just need our credit for that. You're talking about, though, if we went to a bracket and we did a Final Four, this kind of brings back something. And just for the next couple weeks, because we're getting close to the NCAA tournament, we're going to bring back an old fun game, which is Matchup Time Machine. We did it originally, and basically what we do is we take two historic teams in the sport. Each week for the next few weeks, we're going to take an NCAA matchup, and we're going to put them head-to-head. And y'all feel free to tell us in the comments, anybody that's watching, who would you take in this matchup? Now, the NBA has changed a lot. This week, I'm going to go with the first matchup. We'll rotate. Each guy is going to take a week until we get up to the actual tournament. We're going to throw this back. Interesting NBA is how it is now because we talk about positionless basketball. And I would honestly say these two may have been two of the first almost positionless basketball teams that really flourished in the NCAA. So we're going to do today is we have the 2015-16 Villanova Wildcats versus the 2004-2005 Fighting Illini of Illinois. Really quick background before I toss it to y'all. Each teams are both known for the three-guard lineups. Both teams, the highest RSCI, which is your recruiting services, consensus index, meaning basically the index says this is the consensus where these players rank. The highest player they had ranked on each side was the 19th player in the country. On one side, you had Jalen Brunson. On the other side, you had D. Brown. So neither side was clocking in a bunch of five guys. They both ran three guards, and neither was coming in as the favorite that year. But they both made it really far. So, again, we'll go Villanova. We'll go Illinois. Mike, your North Carolina Tar Heels played the Illinois team. How does this play out if those two teams play each other? Not your North Carolina, I mean Illinois.
Well,
yeah, but your North Carolina played them in the
that North
oh
Carolina.
no, they played them both.
They played both teams.
They played both
they
teams.
both. You're right.
They won.
Right.
They won.
They beat
Right.
They beat Illinois.
I really wasn't even taking.
Yeah,
they
they beat
lost.
Illinois. They did. They won. Woo!
Right,
Beat
they
Illinois.
did.
Woo!
I promise that when you say it, I was thinking
Chris
about
Jenkins.
So yeah, you watched both in good and bad. So how does that matchup play out?
As soon as I just for background information before I give my answer, I just want everyone out there to know that when I saw Trey come out with the matchup, I was like, oh, that Illinois team's fun, but who do you pick again? Gonna make me talk about. You're gonna make me talk about my least favorite college basketball team ever, outside of any Duke team. Fuck Chris Jenkins so much, but. As far as this matchup goes, some may be surprised to hear me say this. I would actually take that Villanova team because I was looking at both lineups and the way they kind of operated. And yes, they had the three-guard lineups. Yes, it was two very underrated programs that put together great team basketball. It's just that Illinois, as far as production and getting production out of their lineups, they weren't able to rotate in as many guys as that Villanova team could to come off not only the five starters, but also guys coming off the bench and contributing in big ways. So I think being that Villanova team played hard team basketball and was built to handle other three-guard lineups, other fast-paced kind of up-tempo teams, their defensive, I mean, you look at Brunson and Bridges and DiVincenzo and Phil Booth and Ochefu. Defensively, they're built to withstand a lot of offense. Trust me, they are. So I would take this Villanova team. I think it would be a grinded out matchup that I think would be really close in the end, but I think Villanova takes the win.
John, what about you? Seems like you disagree here.
It's definitely that Illinois team. The Illinois team was a killer, man. They were just dominant. I mean, they were just. I don't think they won it that year, which they didn't.
No, we did.
They lost to North Carolina.
They lost, but that Illinois team was just so good. I mean, they just ran through the NCAA tournament. I mean, they ran through the Big Ten. They were just great. I remember that 04 team because I was literally 2 years after Syracuse won, and I was like, damn, Illinois is just killing it. And I just like the way that they play the game. They play physical. They play hard. I think it would have taken this team, the Villanova team, to be honest with you, Villanova, I mean, yeah, Chris Jenkins hits a 3 at the end, but if you remember, Chris Jenkins wasn't really doing much in that national championship game. But his one key shot obviously makes the game. But North Carolina deserved to win that game. They did. I said congrats after Marcus Pace to him. He's like,
Yes, yes, you did.
5 seconds. But that Illinois team was just too good. I mean, they were just fast. They were physical. They could have big men in the paint. They could move the ball. They're 37-2 for a reason. And they went through the Big Ten at the time. Big Ten was pretty strong in that time. Big Ten, Big East, and then it was SEC. Like, it wasn't always, ACC, SEC bias. It was Big East, it was Big Ten, and it was Big Ten, Big East, and ACC land. So that Big Ten team was solid. So I'll take this Illinois team all day.
Jay, what about you?
I heard Perk say something today, because they asked, is the NBL wrapped up? Is OKC happy? He goes, hell no, you always have to finish the job, right? So Illinois starts off 29-0, kind of similar to Kentucky, right? Kentucky's undefeated almost, and you go into the NCAA tournament, you're like, we got this in the bag, not so fast. The team was great. They played a different style of ball. They were tough defensively. They played in a Big Ten where Michigan State might have been the only credible team in that year. Wisconsin flirted in and out of the top 25. In that year, Villanova won. Xavier was a top 10 team all year, and Seton Hall, who was top 20, actually beat them in the tournament with an NBA player. So I feel, as well as you have Providence and other teams and Creighton, et cetera, playing better basketball than the quality in Big Ten. By the way, Ohio State was 8-8 and Michigan was 4-12 that year, as a side note. So I feel like Villanova got through tougher competition. They also wrote the ship. They lost to Oklahoma by over 20 earlier in the season in a classic tournament in December. And then they thwart them in the Final Four for the largest margin of victory ever. They beat them by 44 points in the Final Four. Their margin of victory, other than the North Carolina game and the Kansas game, which was 3 and 5 points, was 23 points per game. That is absolute dominance at the right time. So if you tell me who I'm going to pick, I'm picking a team that can dominate you in the tournament. So I got Nova in this matchup.
For me, this was a really hard split. I always thought these two teams were similar to each other. So I went back and I looked at the stats, and I was like, man, these two teams are the same fucking team. So both of these teams each made 8 3-pointers per game. We're even there. So we can't say, all right, this team can shoot the gym out. Illinois had a slightly higher percentage, but I mean, it was like really close as far as the 3-point percentage. Nova, they averaged 78 points per game. Illinois, they averaged 77 points per game. Nova allowed 63. Illinois allowed 61. So they basically were running the same team. Where I would take Illinois, though, is because I think the peak guys at that position at their time were in a better peak. They were older. So remember, Nova had a couple younger guys. The Illinois team, if I remember right, they had, okay, so 3 juniors, 2 seniors. We're on that. That's your starting line. So everybody out here is experienced. So you look at Luther Head, you had a good shooter there. You had D. Brown, who was quick as hell and hard to check. Some people thought Darren Williams was better than Chris Paul. People still thought that at some point 4 or 5 years into the NBA experience, including me. That's like act like I didn't say that. But then James Augustine gets underrated because he was really good in the paint. He could actually make sure that people didn't just walk their way in there. So for me, I look at their peaks. And when else I look at the Villanova team, as good as they were, Josh Hart was a 3rd-team All-American. That's all great. This is no shade to him. On the other end, Illinois had D. Brown and Luther Head, they had D. Brown, Luther Head, both first-team All-Americans. Darren Williams, a 2nd-team All-American. So to me, their peak says we had 3 guys who were the top 10 players in the country at the same time. Villanova, they were a bit deeper, but I think once you go into your bag, you start getting these championship-level games, you don't really go to the bench as much unless somebody gets a foul trouble. You stick with your guys, and I think their top guys at that moment, even though their NBA careers didn't turn out better than the Nova Knicks guys here, their peak in college was better than them. So I think I would take the Illinois Fighting Illini, even though I think it would have been a wonderful matchup, and I wish we could put it into a blender and actually watch that play out. Quick thing, though, aside. We were talking about people and, back when they were surgeons and things such as that. We have a certain panel person here. They used to have a team. They used to kind of ball out. They're kind of MIA this year. John, your Syracuse, Orangeman, what are they going to have to do to get this shit together and get back on a path?
point, I have no idea. I mean,
And I'm not saying this year. I mean next year. This point, this year is what it is.
This year's done. I mean, obviously they got a good recruiting class coming in this year. They've had a good recruiting class the last couple of years. Stop playing ISO ball. Stop playing selfish ball. It looks like you're playing. Basically, looks like we're just picking up the ball and the Y and just playing. That's just basically looks like what Syracuse is doing this year. I know Jay was talking a lot of shit about them, but a lot of people, what people don't know is Syracuse was a premier program at one point and still is, in my opinion. I think they're just in a lull right now. They're just hit a lull after Boeheim. I don't like the fact that they hired Red Autry. Let's see if he can turn around. He's got one more year, in my opinion, and then he's gone, because in this new era of sports, if you don't get it done with the transfer portal or anything like that, you're never going to win. So Syracuse is still a premier program, so whoever's talking shit, like, just watch in a few years. They'll get back into the promised land. They'll beat North Carolina. They'll beat Kentucky. They'll get back into the promised land and do their thing like they normally have, because the Big East was the best in conference growing up. So everyone knows that. So, but I think they need to kind of just, Kyan Anthony coming in next year is going to be huge. That's a big name, top 15 recruit, with his teammate, I believe, his best friend, who's number 27. I forget his name. Next year, they're just going to have to stop playing this ISO ball bullshit that they keep playing and start running some formations, start running some plays, move the ball around, play defense, get back on defense, go for loose balls, get some chemistry, man. There's no chemistry on the team, no flow, there's no nothing. It's just nothing going anywhere. Like it's just when you don't have chemistry with your teammate. What's that?
It's a long list.
What, a chemistry? That's one.
No,
You
covered every box. Pretty much, you say it's a total overhaul. You've talked on every single thing having to be better.
You know what would save them? Though? If they had a guy like Pistol Pete that walked in the door, talking to Mike earlier, he said he had something on his mind about Pistol Pete when he was in college. What was that?
Yes.
On your mind?
Yeah, so for those that aren't aware, Pistol Pete Maravich is the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history. But I propose to you guys, I make this statement. He is the most underrated basketball player in basketball history. So all-time college scoring leader with 3,667 points. He did that in 83 games, which means he averaged 44.2 points per game for his total college career. For context, the next closest player to that is Antoine Davis. Don't know if you guys remember Antoine Davis from Detroit Mercy, who came just 3 points short of Pete at 3,664. However, Davis took 144 games to get there. A little more. Oscar Robertson is currently the only top 15 college all-time scorer with less than 100 games played in his career. He's at 13th on the list, and he has almost 700 less points than Maravich. The current leading scorer in the NCAA is Eric Dixon of Villanova. He's averaging 22.9 points per game this year. He has 2,095 points in 153 career games right now, which means mathematically, at his current pace, no dip in production, he stays at 22.9. He'd have to play another 68 games to catch Maravich's number.
Wow.
Let's just remind everybody, this was without the three-point
line.
So he would have averaged 60 points a game if he had a down three-point line.
Which is always crazy because, like, those type of records, like, somehow that record has withstood all this time. And records are meant to be broken, but maybe that record may not meant to be broken. It's kind of crazy hearing that fact.
Not the average.
Baseball is almost time. And baseball is like the game of records. But before we get to the season, we have to go to spring training. Pitchers and catchers, they've reported, and we're almost there. So I know Mike's super excited. I know John, he's going to be coming back soon with the rotation with Mike, so make sure y'all locked in. Rotation is definitely coming back. Jay, you're always our creative person here. So I have to ask you this. You get to run a spring training facility. What type of special feature would you want in your spring training facility that can attract fans and say, we need to go to spring training? I know John and Mike went last year, so I know they're going to have good thoughts on this too, because they actually went to a few last year.
Well, the one major attraction is, they're smart and they put it in a place where it's a good place to vacation around springtime. So it's sunny and shiny. And maybe it might be a little bit difficult to go to the beach and go see a ball game all in one day. So why not just have a wave flow riding machine at the spring training facility? How about this? You set up a little beach area, everybody's hanging out, you have a good view of the field. Hey, I want to go on my boogie board or surfboard and see if I can surf this wave right now. You're going to have droves of kids waiting in line to ride the wave flow machine. Everybody's going to want that picture there. Everybody's having a great time. It's sun. It's fun. You got the water. You got the little beach environment you set up. Maybe a little net in the back so we can have people playing a little volleyball. Create the vibe. So if people having to choose which one to go to and when to go, hey, just go come to our ballpark, get a little bit of the beach, you got a little bit of ball here, get it all in one place.
Mike, you were at
Yes.
spring training last year. What would you have plugged in into? Was it George Steinbrenner Field? What would you have plugged into?
Yes. Well, first off, just in general, for some of these parks, a little more coverage. I mean, that sun is blazing. Please cover the seats a little better and a little more. But anyway, as far as fun goes, to try to attract
Tomato, I
people.
saw the picture.
Hmm?
John looks like a tomato and a blend of my Ohio State flag in back of me.
Listen, those that are as pale as we are understand at certain points you can put as much sunblock on as you want, you still burn. You come out looking. We came out looking like lobsters in certain games. As far as fun,
Braves game, we were sitting right in the center field in the center, right in the center field. We get cooked the entire game.
The thing is, and that was my favorite park we went to. But yeah, no, those seats were.
Those seats were.
We
awesome.
were. The view from the seats were great. It's just being in the sun was awful, as far as that goes. But as far as attracting fans goes, we live in a special day and age where it's just a continuous progression of technology, right? So what I think would be cool is to have a little section of the stadium where it's a virtual reality space where you can actually be inserted into the game. Where you can be up at the plate or be out in the field and, have these experiences so you can see, because especially for kids, kids, baseball fans that when they're kids, they grow up wanting to be players, right? At some point, I feel like every baseball fan definitely wanted to play in the major leagues if they could. So being that, however many percent, like little few, less than 1% of those, actually get to do it, being able to give that experience and be like, hey, this is what it looks like to play in a major league game, albeit a spring training game. It's not regular season, obviously, but this is what it's like. This is what it looks like and feels like. And apparently Sony for the new PlayStation is apparently doing this thing where they're doing smells now coming out of controllers.
Oh,
you're going to be able to smell what the game. Yeah. So, I mean, if we have that kind of technology, the smell of like the fresh cut grass and the dirt and like all that, like, I guess you can incorporate that as well. But I think that would be really cool.
I don't think John's feeling the smells. I think he says he has a better idea.
I mean, no, you're risking a lot there with the smells, but the view would be, at least minimum, the view of the game would be great.
John Sawyer, known for farting during the game. Would you like to smell it?
What the fuck are you gonna smell? Like no. Can I turn that feature off, like the mic?
I mean, I can imagine you'll be able.
Mike, the only thing is, you've seen those blooper reels where people are getting up and running into walls. You're gonna have a gaming chair and freaking people in a seatbelt.
Oh no, you got to be strapped in.
You got to run and get the catch and make a dive. It's like, no, buddy, you can't do that.
You're just watching. You're watching what happens. You're not actually doing it.
Like the courtside view stuff they have with NBA.
Yes,
stuff,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
John, how are you doing in your stadium?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about the virtual. I think it's more about the kid center, if you want to put that in the kid center. But when you go to a baseball game, you want to see the game. So I think it's a little difficult, in my opinion. I think it's a cool idea for kids. Like, drop them off, go do what they got to do, and then you go watch the game, have a few beers. That'd be a cool idea. But I mean, look, I'm a cigar smoker. Put a cigar bar in there. Make it up top, away from people, where the wind is blowing, so it's not blowing on everyone. You have a nice little cigar outdoor lounge. They already do it here at the Syracuse Chiefs park in the outfield. They have a little cigar lounge out there. You have, bring in different whiskeys, local whiskeys that you can have, or local, beers or breweries to the cigar bar, and just have a good ass time. And when you're on vacation, like Jay said, you like to let loose a little bit. You like to have a nice little stogie, a nice cocktail, and watch some good baseball. Like, and that's it. And a lot of times they're pulling most of the starters by the third or fourth inning, or the starters aren't even there because they're playing in another stadium or they're not playing that day. So if you get that one of those games, you go out there, you enjoy some baseball, have some cigars, have some food, have some drinks from local breweries, local wineries, local whatever it might be, all local alcohol, nothing like name brand, because like the local, you want to support local businesses and the small businesses, and you want to help build them up and like show their brands and stuff like that. And so it's like when people go home, it's like, oh, I had this great beer, it's a great IPA, I really want it. And then, okay, now it starts to build as a bigger brand for them. So it's marketing in twofold in that aspect.
You actually bring me to a good point, which brings it to mind. As you mentioned, they start to yank starters, and then at that point, the game's kind of dull and starters aren't there. We need a reason to keep everybody in the game. So I made a quick plan of how we're going to keep everybody invested for the entire game. So what we have to do is, you have about 30 spring training games, right? We need to link the professionals with the spring training. So we need to link our fans for the professionals with the spring training. So what you do is, each game for your home stadium, so what did I put, about 15 games each or whatever did you play home? Am I right there?
Right.
About 15 home games,
Right.
give or take. Okay, so what you do is, each home team, they'll have different promotions for each spring training game. And what you have is basically a fan competition. You get 3 to 4 fans, and each time it rotates. So 1 week, it's the fan hot dog eating contest. 1 week, it might be the fans run the base contest. And what you do is you find the first round in the 6th inning. So now people have incentive to stay at least to the 6th inning because you're like, I need to see the first round of hot dog eating contest. Then, of course, you have the 7-inning stretch because that's baseball, and you do the finals in the 8th inning. So now you stay for most of the game. The winner of said competition, they get the fan experience, which includes them, another fan of their choice. They get to go to a professional game at said stadium. So if you go to the Yankees game at George Steinbrenner Field and you win that week's hot dog eating contest or that week's base running contest, now you get to go to one Yankees game in actual Yankee Stadium. Now maybe we give you extra batting practice, or maybe you get to actually be there early, access, maybe see some of the players, maybe you get an autograph from Aaron Judge, we pay for your flight. Put some goodwill in. A lot of these fans that are spring training may not actually live in the city, so it's a great time for them to actually get to go to that city, get to go to that stadium, and now you kind of get to cross over both events. So I just think it does goodwill. I mean, you're only giving out 15 of these, so it's 30 tickets total. It's not going to kill the team to actually do that. And you get to cross over the event, and now you make people stay longer. The longer they stay, the more beer sales and things such as that. So in the long run, it just seems like it's a win-win for everybody. So the MLB fan experience.
And the most of the time they have partnerships with airlines, partnerships with hotels for their stadium, so it's a write-off at the end of the day. So it's not like a big cost. It's like, okay, yeah, cool, here you go. Put you in this Hilton and fly Delta all the way, to the stadium, no problem.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, for example, just one example, the Yankees have a massive Delta sign in the outfield. like
right, so you can find
you can see it from the outside of the stadium.
I barely see it.
Yeah, so you got
it's very
Delta,
small.
so it already seems manageable. So that makes sense to me. But we're almost to a new season of baseball. We're almost to a new season of our favorite time of the year. I think we're going to crown a new champ today. That's at least what I say. We don't Patrick Mahomes to get a 3-peat, and neither is Jay today. If everybody's ready, new champ gets crowned today. Today's Stump the Squad.
Yeah, boys, and there will not be a new champ because I'm about to claim my name. When the stakes are high, it's time. It's Grandpa J time. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 3rd edition, the pinnacle, where we crown a champ once again for Stump the Squad. So, I won the first 2 seasons, if you want to call it that. This is the final show for the 3rd season here on episode 150. You guys have been great playing along with us. Like, subscribe, comment. Okay, this one's a special one. You don't get the crown, but you get to say you may have beat the champ if you score more than me or Trey, because we're the only ones in the running to be the champ right now this season. Get it right, give yourself +2. Get it wrong, -2. Don't cheat, don't look at your computers. Just guess away and let us know if you beat us. So, in fashion of how I'd like Trey to remain for the rest of the day, which has been 0 or negative points, take it away, Trey.
Okay, I'm going to butcher this name here. We're going to go to the ice hockey ring because that's my background. Okay, it's not. I'm going to butcher his name here. But the point is, I was made aware from a guy who I work with, my guy Melch. He's a big hockey fan. He said, you know what? Maybe we should shout this guy out because he's actually from Parma, Ohio, which isn't too far from Cleveland. It's a suburb of that. And he has a claim to fame here. We have a guy, and please pronounce this right for me, Alex Nadakovic. Am I pronouncing this right? He is a goalie. Plays for the
Nedeljkovic.
Najokovic. He is the first goalie to score in NHL, AHL, and ECHL in history, which is kind of a dope feat. So I kind of thought it was dope. I said, oh, that's not going to be our STUMP squad, but he's from Cleveland. So I got to shout him out. And he also played for the Cleveland Barons at a point. So definitely shout out to him. The STUMP squad question here is, how many wins does he have in his NHL career? 48, 54, 60, or 72?
54.
Johnny said 54?
Yep.
Funnily enough, he also has played, I think a lot of games of his NHL career was with John's Detroit Red Wings.
Detroit.
Stupid facts.
One more time for me.
48,
I know.
54, 48, 54, 60, 72.
Once upon a time, Detroit was great. Give me 60.
Jay's going 60. John's going 54.
I'll go 48.
And Mike is going 48. Gentlemen, today I successfully stumped the squad. And it starts. The comeback starts.
He has that many.
Yes, he has
Wow.
72.
Good for him.
Yeah. Awesome. Feel free, Alex, if you ever want to come on the show, feel free to do so. You have an open invite, whenever you want to. Let's keep Jay at 0. So, Jay, go ahead. Let's bring it.
All right, so we segued off of All-Star Weekend, and the NBA didn't get too much praise, but I'm going to bring the NBA back into the limelight here a little bit. So, gentlemen, since the playoff format shifted to 7 games in 1984, which one of these number 1 seeds in the playoffs had the fewest wins in an 82-game season? Is it the 2000 Pacers, the 2001 76ers, the 2014 Pacers, or the 1984 Lakers? Can you tell me which one of those number 1 seeds in the playoffs since the year 1984 had the fewest total wins to crown them the number 1 seed in their respective conference? 2000 Pacers, 2001 76ers, 2014 Pacers, 1984 Lakers.
84 Lakers.
Okay. Both of us.
14 Pacers. I just want to be different.
John, you guess yet?
Yeah. He said 84 Lakers as well.
Gentlemen, this evening I have successfully stumped Miguel. The correct answer is the 1984 Lakers, who had 2 less wins than all the other teams. They all had 56. The Lakers had 54.
All right. Well, Trey's on the board with 2. I'm at 0. Grandpa Jay's at -2. And Mike's at -4.
Go ahead, Mikey.
All right. So we take it to spring training. Of course, it's baseball season, and I'm excited. Which team was the first to hold spring training away from their home facility? Was it A, the Boston Red Stockings? B,
Stockings.
Cleveland Forest Cities?
Wow.
C, Hartford Dark Blues? Or D, New York Mutuals?
Yo, Hartford Dark Blues just sound like it was a dark and blue time. So I'm going to just take that name because shit sounded real dread. So give me the Hartford.
What was the second one?
Second one was Cleveland Forest Cities.
Yeah, let me go with that.
I was thinking
Going back to his 1986 sports references for this one.
I was thinking Hartford too. I feel like I'm going to go on a limb. Let's go Boston.
Oh, please be Hartford. Come on. Please be Hartford. Give me a chance to win. Please.
Okay, so we got Hartford, Cleveland, and Boston.
Please be Hartford. Come on.
This week, Mikey gets himself a consolation prize because he has stumped the squad. It is the New York Mutuals. And no, it is not my 1946 baseball knowledge. It is my 1869 baseball knowledge.
Said 1865.
Okay, well, close enough. Now, we're not Civil War.
All right, let's see. We all can tie. No. I'm at -2. Trey's at 0. And yeah, I think we're all still in it. So.
Yes.
And Jamie and Mike are at -4. Alrighty.
So we have to get it right, and you and Trey have to get it wrong, and we have a 4-way tie. No, you'll be out if you get it wrong. If you get it right and Trey gets it wrong, you win. Is that what happens?
So he can't get it right or wrong. It's his question.
This question, so he takes
right. It is his question. So
someone has to ask the question. We can't all answer.
That's right. We have to get it right. Trey has to get it wrong to have a 4-way tie. That's what it is.
And essentially, for the championship purposes, you have to get it right, and Trey has to get it wrong.
Right.
To tie.
All right. Who has the most goals in USA international play history? Or who has most wins as a goaltender in USA history?
A whole different question. The fuck?
I don't know. I changed it. I didn't change it. I just read it wrong.
All right, read it properly. That's 2 questions.
I didn't. I read it once. Who has the most wins as a goaltender in USA international history? As a goaltender. Is it Jack McCartan, Ryan Miller, Jim Craig, or Goodwin Hardin?
Whether it's the answer or not, you got to put Craig in there.
Just say the first names.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack McCartan, Ryan Miller, Jim Craig, or Goodwin Harding?
Jack, Ryan, Jim, Goodwin. Thank you.
And the first names wouldn't help. You know.
Well, I remember the first names. I can't remember the full names.
Right.
What'd you say?
Right.
Jack.
Okay.
Being is that I cannot win the championship. Fuck it. Jimmy Craig! Jimmy!
Cool. All right.
I wasn't trying to make
today
it
I have successfully stumped. God damn it, Trey. It is Trey and Mike. It is Jack McCartan with 7 wins.
I'm through in the clutch. Mike, you got to give the tiebreak.
No. Oh, yeah.
I said Ryan.
I know. Jack McCartan was the answer.
So Jack. So
he has 7 wins.
Great tie right now.
Ryan and Jim Craig have.
wait, so who's tied? What's the score?
So the score
We
is
all have
-2. -2.
No, I should be ahead of you because I was already ahead of you. So we both went back.
No, you are.
He got it right.
And
Jamie
I was
got it
-4.
Jamie got it right.
Jamie got it right. You got it wrong. So you went to -2.
I thought you said Mike got it right. Gotcha.
He went to -2. Let's one person do the score.
No pressure, Mikey.
All right. So
Be in this center.
how many goals?
Wait, you're in it too.
Wait, you're in it.
I
You're
am.
in it.
Yeah, you have -2.
Yeah, I have to do a
You're
question.
in it. Mike has
You-
to do it. You're in it.
You can stave off this
You can play
championship
spoiler
to
and
win.
make it like guess the hockey game score, whatever we said is a real tiebreak to
Yeah.
win.
Okay.
What number is Jim Craig? I got it.
I know.
I know you. Do.
Can I win? No. All right, let's see. All right, here it is. Of those on the Illinois 04-05 Illinois team, right? What was of the players on that team that were within that RCSI top 100? What was the lowest ranking?
At the top, what in the RCSI?
The RCSI top 100 of the recruits they had on that team. What was the lowest ranking within the top 100 they had?
19. Wait, are you
90.
lowest? Are you talking about lowest?
Like as
Lowest
in
as in closest
how
to
far
100.
down the list.
He meant
Yeah,
close
how
to
far
100.
down the list?
Correct. Okay.
97.
I got you. Okay, so I was thinking the other way around. I was like, he said the answer earlier. I was like, oh, that's
97.
99. Aaron Judge, Wayne Gretzky.
I'll go with my year, 82.
Okay, so please repeat your answers one more time for me.
97.
99.
Okay.
Wayne Gretzky, Aaron Judge.
82.
Okay. Gentlemen, we have a champion.
Oh boy.
It's Trey because he's happy.
And that
I don't know.
champion
For how to read it. No.
does what Patrick Michael Jordan Mahomes could
Yeah, I
not
didn't know
do and three-peats because it is 78.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to say I wanted this to be entertaining for the last month, so I was on a cold streak for a reason. We just wanted to keep you guys and build some drama here on Cinco Squad. I'd like to thank these three guys for knowing shit when it comes to the squad. Once again, granting me my third victory in a row. I own this mofo.
Apparently, I am the Buffalo Bills of this because I always lose when all counts close down the stretch.
Hopefully Tina doesn't get to this point in the show.
Yeah, I am the Buffalo
You're
Bills
like,
now.
fuck Trey.
I lost. So I'm like them. Call me Josh Allen.
Right, Bubba? Right, Bubba?
Yeah, call me Josh Allen. I'm almost there, but I'm not almost there. Well, we'll have a new season. We'll have a new champ next time. Shout out to Jay. He gets to keep defending his championship for another 25 weeks. And this will be his last time. So I hope he is enjoying this while he can. Because one of us is going to take this. We're going to – I'll be sending you all the answers in advance to make sure they can let you know.
I'm the champ for another 50 shows, baby. Let's go.
Yes, I will be sending y'all the my answers in advance. But another great show as usual. We have to quickly do this. We have to do our Four Nations prediction because that is the currently big thing right now. So quickly, roundtable. Everybody give your winner and your score for the Four Nations. USA versus Canada. John, Mike, Jay, then me. John, go.
USA 5-2.
USA 4-3.
Canada 3-2 in OT.
All right, Jamie's been deported. USA 5, Canada 4.
That's hilarious. That's fucked up.
So, gentlemen, definitely make sure everybody tunes in. The Four Nations been kind of lit, even for a person who wants hockey. I will have it in one of my extra little screens while I'm still watching my basketball. I watch my basketball first. But we're back. Hockey's coming to an end, so it's going to start heating up on the ring. Basketball's in the second half of the year. We got baseball coming back soon. We got the rotation coming back soon. We have more starter five coming back soon. So definitely make sure everybody like, comment, subscribe. Cinco Squad Pod 05. A lot more action coming. We may see us pop up in some spring training games. Who knows? So definitely make sure y'all lock in with us. Cinco Squad out.